What's up, guys? Thank you for being patient. While Fnatic was finishing its final rounds in Counter-Strike, and they've won. They've gone 2-0 and completing their qualifier stage for Blast in Paris. So well done to them. It's been a very complicated few games for them recently, but they managed to pull it off, I should say. And that's nice. More victories for Fnatic. But how you doing, guys? So happy to see you. Hope you're doing well. I've had a bit of a complicated week personally. Got food poisoning on Monday. Was at the hospital on Tuesday. Feeling a bit better, but if you see me pulling faces, it's normal because I'm still recovering quite a bit. My hair's all over the place, as you can see, so could be better, but definitely improving in terms of health. Today, covering week 3 of Spring Split and looking into how do you call it? Looking into group stage, into which Fnatic has finally qualified. So, well, I'll finally be able to cover group stage, which I didn't last split. So that'll be exciting. So we'll have a look at the top 8 teams that qualified and those who didn't. How Fnatic managed to qualify. We'll talk about the last 3 games that they played. And we'll go into group predictions, obviously, as we usually do. Awesome. Let's jump right into it, guys, if you don't mind. With week 3, our usual top and flops of the week. Final standings are really surprising. I don't think anyone expected to have as their top 2 BDS and Astralis of all teams. I don't know which one's the most surprising one, if it's the BDS one or the Astralis one. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so what was I saying? Yes, sorry. Astralis being in the top 2, played super well, and below are G2 and Vitality, who had a few bumps on the road during their regular split. Now, obviously, you could question if G2 has been trying as hard this split, as they already qualified to MSI, and they also have a spot for the ultimate final that is later today. What am I talking about? Later this year, which is like the one LEC roadshow. So yeah, that's definitely something we can speculate about here. Vitality, SK, Fnatic, Koi, Mad Lions just making it on the tiebreaker, just managed to qualify, have been kind of fallen in terms of their form recently, compared to the fact that they made finals on the previous split. So definitely a drop in form within the team. And Team Heretics, this time not making it to top 8. They really looked awful during the whole split. And Excel, again, despite the changes they've made, the recent ones with their coaches, bringing Abedagi in the final week to maybe hope, a last chance qualifier, could make it. So, as my decider for the top teams of this week, obviously it's BDS. BDS who definitely look like the team to beat. I don't think I'm alone when I say that Adam has really, really improved this season and is really a big surprise. Now, they obviously do let him quite a bit on his pocket picks that work into the meta right now. But even on the standard picks that everyone plays, he's doing well overall. He did have a sort of inting Scion where his team really helped win, but in the end, he still managed to make it work. BDS went undefeated this week. Just overall looked like the stronger team. It didn't feel like there was much back and forth or games that they really stole from their opponents. Especially this week where they were facing Vitality. And again, Vitality is one of these teams that a lot of people expected, I'd say, at least top 3 within the ranking with the addition of Upset. And it looked like this at the beginning of the season until they kind of faltered and sort of middle of second week, and very inconsistent overall. I don't know if it's an identity problem or whatsoever, but they're definitely not performing as well as everyone expected, I think, and therefore that allows teams like BDS to come in and show that they're continuing their improvement from Winter Split. Along them joins Astralis. Now, I'm probably repeating myself here by saying, Astralis, no one expected him there. Leader, we weren't expecting him at this level, but it's true, right? And the fact that their level of play from week 1 wasn't a fluke, and again this week they've gone with 3 wins, just like BDS, also reflects the level of improvement that there's been into the team. I don't know what bringing leader, if it's more sustainability within the mid lane, more certainty, I would say, compared to Dejor, who had a really poor laning phase. I guess what's his name, leader just managed to bring it a bit more together and actually happens to have quite a lot of carry performances. Now, it is on a lot of assassin style high scaling champions like the Aurelia, the Zed. Who else did he play recently? Aurelia, Zed. There's a third one that I'm missing. Akali, it is. Could be. But if they work, they work, right? So that's the thing is, while he might be in a specific like meta with his own pocket champions, if the team around him can make them work and allow him to perform on those champions, that allows him to be a good player and to bring Astralis, at the top. Kobe, I feel, also has been a strong point for the team. Now, it's been a consistent trend that Kobe has always been like a good player, right? And has never really had the opportunity to completely shine through. He had great moments, notably when he was part of Misfits, but it was missing. Wait, was it? No, he was in Misfits, right? Or am I confusing with something else? Splice, maybe. Splice. I need to check. I know he was part of Splice. Was he part of Misfits at one point? Let me check. Probably not. No, he was in Misfits. Yeah, when he came back from TSM. But I said Misfits, but I was thinking Splice, actually. Because Splice was really, in my opinion, where he was at the top of his game. sorry, yeah. So overall, as a team, Astralis is you know, performing admirably and definitely deserve their spot at the top overall. And I will say something, right? I don't know if it's necessarily the format which only gives us like 9 games, nine best of ones, and that allows them maybe to not have the second phase where maybe they would have crumbled, you know, or not, you know. But it's nice to see that Astralis, who was accused of not trying, just being happy to have their LEC spot, and that rumor kind of being sort of validated when, you know, there was discussion with Carmine Corp to not necessarily sell but have like something conjoined like Rogue and Koi, to say that these guys have kind of, you know, given up in being competitive. And now that they're showing this side of them with, again, not necessarily having star players across the team, but still being able to perform well, I think that's kind of exciting for their fans to, you know, to support, because I know they've really been waiting for that moment where they can be proud of their organization. So, you know, I don't know how far really Astralis can go from there, but what they've shown already, I think, is just like super fun. And the fact that the way that they play works makes it all more competitive for the LEC. The third team that I've added is Fnatic. Now, Fnatic didn't go 3-0. They're not the only team, sorry, that won 2 games this week. I'm only putting Fnatic here in terms of their improvement from one week to another, where not only they beat Mad Lions convincingly, but also G2. And G2 was the big test, obviously. This is where everyone was expecting them, saying, okay, you've beaten teams that are kind of, you know, on the lower part of the table. Now, not only are you facing your rivals, but you're facing a team that is the last winner of the previous split, but is also capable of drafting whatever they want because there's so much flexibility within their players. So just a quick mention, just to you know, salute the improvement, the qualification, and the fact that they were that close from being, I believe, in the sort of upper half on that top 4 of the standings. So well done to them. Just a quick shout out, obviously. With that said, moving on a bit more towards our flops of the week. Well, I obviously put Team Heretics and Excel in the flops because they didn't make it. Just again as a quick mention, Team Heretics, their weaknesses that already existed within Winter and the skill ceiling of their roster has really shown through in that split. You know, everyone was very high on Evi. This guy was, you know, letting access on Cassante, on which he was performing well, but now that people know how to play against Cassante, have distinguished specific counters, you know, he isn't as impressive anymore. That's one part. The second part is the rest of the roster is just not following or helping Yankos on the way he tries to carry the team. And you feel bad because Jankos is a man with so many capabilities in his bag, and it almost feels so easy to sort of help him and therefore help yourself to win a game if you would just follow him and play with him. But there's such a disconnect between him and the rest of the team that the way that this team is constructed just cannot work. It just can't. And yeah, it's just a case of being exposed again. As for Excel is just a mathematical formula that never worked out. It's crazy with the roster with which they started with. It didn't work. But all the changes they're making, the coaches whatsoever, it's almost worse, you know. They look absolutely lost on the Rift. They got what? They got 2 wins, I believe, total. Which is what? Oh, I guess they doubled their number of wins compared to last split, but there's no signs of improvement. There's definitely no signs of improvement. And from that point onwards, you have to wonder how Excel is gonna evolve going into the summer split. Now, I know they've removed Xerxes, but I don't think it's been announced who they've replaced him with, right? Or what the rumors are. I need to check again. I know there's an article on this. I have to look at it real quickly. Different options. Yeah, no. So nothing has been announced yet, or even in terms of rumor. But it seems very complicated right now to make changes within that final part of the season, right? Because if you make some changes after winter, you have like spring and summer in which you can build on. But if there's really no sense of improvement with the recent changes that you've made, what are the solutions that are offered to you? It's you make a last Hail Mary attempt to maybe win summer split and hopefully bring some pieces that click together and that are good enough to, you know, if not win, at least go far enough into the split to win. Or do you say like listen, this is the roster we're building on, and then we'll take that roster into 2024. And of course that's not going to happen because 2024 free agency, the market opens and you're going to get better talent that's available or promising talent. So for Excel, I'm really lost because they've made so many changes in a short amount of time and nothing has changed in terms of their performance. Like, what players are even going to be excited in joining this team afterwards? I don't think anyone would be. People would probably be scared because they're like, damn, that's pretty bad. On top of that, there's rumors that they've been mishandling contracts with their players, so they're in some legal trouble beyond that. Doesn't look too fancy overall for Excel. But yeah, that was just to mention the two teams that didn't make it out. The two other teams that I've put in the same category is Koi and SK. Hi, Juvenal, how's it going? Koi, I'm really surprised because they started the split rather well. Like they went in, they beat Vitality, they beat G2. That looked like a promising team because Vitality and G2 were the teams to beat, really, to be at the top. And then they started crumbling again. They lost against bunch of teams that you would expect them to beat when you're specifically beat some of the best teams within your first week. Like I need to get their schedule again. They beat Heretics. So it's on their second week. Their second week they beat G2. They beat Vitality. They lose to Fnatic, which was quite surprising. They beat Excel, thank God for them. They lose to BDS, and wait, am I missing something here? I thought they beat Vitality. No, they beat SK. Sorry, they beat SK. They lost to Vitality, and SK was like one of the strong teams of the week, so of the season. So I'm not too sure what happened, because it feels like the meta should favor players like Shigenda, with the Jack players champions like Jax are strongly used as well. What's that? Do you think signing Yankos could save Excel's summer split? I'm not sure. I think it would definitely bring more stability in terms of how they play the game. Would it necessarily save it? Not sure. Like I'm not even gonna consider what do you call it? If it's even a possible purchase from Excel, like if he were to be part of the team. That's a very good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. It seems that Excel has deeper problems than just swapping players around. Like you're trying to find the red card in the stack. So they need more stuff to be worked on. But yeah. Just to quickly mention as well, SK to end this segment with. SK has been very disappointing in their latter part of the split. They came in swinging. I thought that again they were gonna hit like a top 2, top 3 position. Their team looked good again, and I don't know. This week they go 0-3. I don't remember them facing like the hardest team as well. Like, who did they face again? They faced Heretics. Vitality is a bit difficult. And G2. Okay, they did. Okay, my bad. They did face some complicated teams, but still, right? You would expect a team like SK to, challenge these teams if they want to pretend to be at the top again. And I'm just not too sure about what happened overall, because in their game against Team Heretics, like they were just losing all the team fights. It wasn't even close. And if there's something that SK has been good at, is managing their team fights. And there, they were just getting outplayed. When you get outplayed by players like friggin' Ruby and Evi, who have been running it the past few days, past few weeks, I should say, you know, what do you do? What do you do? So, yeah, no, super weird from SK. I don't know how they will be able to bring it back going into the group stage, because they're facing BDS, and BDS, they are on the up and coming. Like they're definitely, like, they play and behave like a top team. So a lot of work for SK, for them going into group stage. With that said, I'm gonna put my light on because it's starting to get dark. Ooh, too bright. No, okay, gets adjusted. We'll talk about Fnatic's impressive week, ending the what do you call it? The standings at 4 and 5. With a first game against Mad Lions, which was really convincing. Now, putting it into context, Mad Lions was doing poorly as well at the end of week 2. But, you know, from one week to another, everything can happen. Again, they've been to finals, or they've been to the last finals. They have a good set of players who are able to bring it back. But instead, we just had a very controlled game, back to front. And we've finally started seeing a very well managed Oscarinian in the top lane. Like, this guy went absolutely crazy on his Olaf. And I don't think anyone expected him to pull off the Olaf, you know. Happens to work well against the Gnar, and he's just like, yeah, take me the counter matchup, screw it. And what I liked on top of that is that we gave him a lot of resources after, to help him grow. But man, this guy dominated his lane and was just not scared to fight during or around the objectives. So one big team fight around the Drake, I can't remember which one it was, where he hits a well placed axe and he just runs at the target. Who was it against? Who does he hit? Oh yeah, he hits Chasey, and then goes on to Karzi, and it's like, yep, GG guys. The claim dragon, go to Baron, call it a day. No, it was very well played from start to beginning. You always get kind of scared when Razork, you know, gets the Sejuani locked in, because I don't know what it is with him. He feels like he needs to send his ultimate the moment he gets it. Like, the moment it's off cooldown, he's got to swing that shit. I don't know why. But, you know, I feel like this game, he was a bit more conservative with it, and he didn't YOLO it as much. My opinion would be that maybe when it feels like the game's a bit more under control, he doesn't have to pull like those crazy hero plays where he what do you call it? He has to make a move, you know, like something has to happen. There's an action that needs to be made. So plays with a bit more controlled pace, instead of like, oh, I spot an enemy, I must attack him, like LPL style, like kill on sight. So over across the board, just great showing from everyone, and got us into a really good momentum, especially going into the G2 game. Now, G2, the same day, had played SK, and they managed to turn back the game, and that's always a bit discouraging when you're like, damn, no matter what you do, these guys just don't fall. So it was a bit scary because while Fnatic did well against Mad Lions, you're like, damn, if we give like a single edge to G2 at any moment, they're just going to turn it around and win the game. And that can happen with Fnatic, especially when they're still improving. It's like you can still commit like one mistake and then just screw the game for yourself if G2 is able to pull this thing though. Sorry, I have a little bit of, I don't know what that was. So yeah, we're going into the game. Everything's on the line. Getting the qualification for groups, winning against G2, and continuing the win streak, continuing to show that we are improving, we are a good team, we're going places, and it's, how can I say this? Played well overall, but G2 was getting a lot of the neutral objectives, right? However, what we were doing really well is that we were punishing them for getting those objectives, for being a bit greedy on how they did get them, because they'd never go for the objectives when how'd you call it? When there was like a good timing. Like Fnatic was always able to be around when what do you call it? When they were attacking the objectives, and that's what allowed them to punish them every time. So while they were getting drakes, Fnatic was getting kills, was getting like proper gold. And with the team comp that we had, which is very much scaling, we had Yazir, we had the Sivir. It doesn't matter if you don't get, the first drakes necessarily, because if you get gold in exchange, and you get minions, you get a bit more map pressure, that just goes right, in your way of going into scaling, and not on top of losing the objectives, you just get nothing in return. Humanoid played exceptionally well on his Azir, which kind of seems to be his patented champion, his go-to champion now. But what I will say is that not just this game, but across the recent games, we've seen much better mid-jungle synergy, which has been a massive issue since last year. And seeing a bit more coordination in this, particular part of the team is, I think, more than just, playing well overall and having better team synergy whatsoever. If we're able to really make both of these guys play super well, I think we've unlocked one of the biggest potential of this team that wasn't really there last season. But what I will underline specifically in this game is that we played not only the pick game super well, but we played the map game super well. because there are a lot of moments where they try to abuse some of the vision, they try to abuse some of the lane pressure, and we always manage to either sort of counter gank or actually chase them. And that's what happens at that moment on the top lane, right? Is that you have Razork that sort of almost catches Mickey out of position, chases him. Adrian comes in, manages to get the knock up on Zeri, forces her to go away, which then translates into a Baron with, again, Adrian keeping Yike at base so he can't counter, and that's that. And that's the story of the whole game. It's just not only, I mean, a lot of people have spoken about it, the good drafting from the coaching staff, which has been a regular topic as of the recent games, which, to be honest, I should mention as well, because I think that's also a major point of what is making our team so successful as of recent, is that we're really playing to our strengths. We're drafting smart, going into the severe for the scaling and the spell shield against a Renata or Devi as well. You're going into one of Reckless's best champions, one of them he's the most famous for, and you're also guaranteeing yourself like a champion that answers well against the high engage / disengage champions that G2 drafted. But yeah, not much to say about this game. Maybe I'll add the little troll moment that they had with the double TP. They tried to end it, but that almost cost us, and that ended, thank God, with Razork stealing the Baron to what do you call it? To not lose us the game and keep us in, being able to close. Good stuff. Good game against G2. The Astralis game is almost the same story, I want to say, where we started super well, but this time the team fights didn't go our way. A lot of mispositioning overall. I had to rewatch the game because I misread the time at which the game was supposed to start, and therefore I was like, oh, you know what? I'll start a game of League of Legends just before what I thought was going to be the game time. In the end, big mistake. I had to sort of put my phone on the side, try to watch it, and then as I finished my game, I return onto the Fnatic match, and I see like 20 kills across the board. I'm like, Jesus, no, what is going on? So I had to rewatch it, and I was like, such a shame, really, the way we started. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. It's almost good to already to have this loss now before the group stage, because there's some obviously clear mistakes that the boys are going to talk about, and they're going to review the VODs, and that allows us to work on them already. On top of that, we had groups locked in, and I'll be honest, once you're locked into groups, it doesn't really matter at what standing you're ending, because it's if you want to win it all, you're basically going to have to beat anyone that comes in front of you. So you're not going to have an easy time, whatever happens. So just qualify and then do the necessary to win your best of threes. So I'm almost going to say that the Astralis game is a blessing, because we end up facing them in the group stage. So we already know what we can do, and we already know that we're able to beat them. If we don't make those stupid mistakes, that game was won. That game was won. So personally, I'm not too worried about that loss overall. Vibes are looking good. We had Euphoria yesterday, I believe, with Reckless and Advian. Team seems to be doing as good as it's ever done. There's reports that we're winning 85% of our scrims. Oscarinin has shown incredible form. The team is supporting him as much as possible. He's finally, getting to his potential, and I think what we've seen this season is that what matters is to get a team that works together. It doesn't matter if you don't have star names across the board. As long as you have that synergy, that people are working together, are going in the same direction, and are happy to play together, I feel like that's the biggest strength you can have. And Nightshare is doing an incredible job in that sense, where he's really allowing his players to get together, play the games, did the board games. They did what do you call it, escape room the other day, and from what I read is that he wants to create an environment within the office where people are happy to stay even after the game. So it's not just I'm going to my job, to my office, I play my game, then I go back. Win or lose doesn't matter, but at least share a moment with the team. And I'm really curious if also having the Valorant team within the building also kind of helps, because the Valorant boys are very positive guys overall. They already have a good vibe, especially when you have people like Boaster, Durkee, now Alphayer, who seems to be an easy guy, happy-go-lucky kind of vibe, who I think would get along easily with anyone. To be honest, the way I kind of see him, he seems like a very sweet person in real life, and there's guys like Leo, I feel, that would fit well with Humanoid, who just shows zero emotion at all moment, just very focused on destroying their opponent. And also I think Chronicle has to be like a very interesting guy to talk to. I always vision him as a very sort of cerebral person, someone who's constantly thinking about stuff and making sure that everything is executed properly. Yeah, I don't think I have much to add about this. I'm just very excited about this team, to be honest. I think they've finally brought faith to everyone again, and we've all rallied around their story and their success, and we just want to see them go as far as possible. The last Legends in Action really summed it up, I think, where like Reckless said, he's ready to go into battle for Oscarinin, and that's the vibe you really want from the team you support. So I think we'll just look at our predictions playoffs. So games are Fnatic Astralis, Vitality Mad Lion, and the last game of the week will be the winners finals, kind of. No, I didn't want to put 2-1. I wanted to put 2-0. Is that gonna change your score? No, okay. You guys put 2-1. I think 2-0. I genuinely think we're gonna play so solid against them. Vitality, Mad Lions 2-0. I think, yeah, seeing how Mad Lions has played recently, even if Vitality has crumbled, although Vitality has separated themselves from their coach or assistant coach, Mephisto. So I don't know, not too sure what's happening there. I've heard that maybe he's going to K Corp, which doesn't seem to really make K Corp fans really happy from what I've read. So I don't know. There's nothing that's been reported on that sense. As for the winners finals, we're full on hopium. 2-1 Fnatic. Anything can happen again if we're doing well. If we're able to translate the scrim performances on stage, why not? Why not? But I think getting the first win at least this week will put us in a great position. Not just because we'll have the one win, but we'll have that extra game against Vitality, and then we'll have a whole week to prepare for the extra game. Whereas if you lose the first game, then there's at least 2 more games you have to prepare for. So that's the best outcome, basically. So 2-1 Fnatic. Best case scenario, we qualify on the first week. Then we have like 2 weeks to chill, I guess. Sorry. Group B. I like the little color associations that we have from groups. The yellow and orange, and we have some pink and white match as well, I feel. BDS SK, you guys put 2-1. I think it's going to be 2-0. I feel like if BDS continue to be as dominant as they have been, there's like SK has just had such perform recently that I think BDS are way ahead. G2 Koi should be straightforward 2-0. Then again, Koi has managed to beat G2 this split, so it's kind of like what form of G2 is gonna come up. Is it gonna be the super tryhard G2 that's gonna go with some crazy flex picks? It's gonna go with the Kled top, and they're just gonna be unplayable, or is it just gonna be the sort of standard simple G2 play, picking run of the mill meta picks and just play like a classic game? And because of that, we have one slight difference on the latter stage of the predictions. You guys went for G2. I think BDS again is the strongest team right now. I still think it's going to go all 3 games, but a solid 2-1 could be happening, could be in the books for this team. We'll see. What I'll do for the scoring is I'll do 1 point for the right winner, and I'll do 3 points for right winner and right score. So the gap in points could expand for next week. So make sure to tune in next week to see how well or how poorly this went overall. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up our predictions and therefore the podcast for today. Again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Big games this weekend. Make sure to watch and to support Fnatic in their epic journey into groups. And hope you have a nice evening. And yeah, always Fnatic. Bye bye, guys.